Hello, this is Noreen from Joy Cards and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up! Card videos, please like and subscribe, hit that little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. So now let's go make a card. Hello everybody, today's cards, because they're going to be 3 cards, I'm going to show you 2 and we're going to make 1. And I'm using Wild and Sweet because this is so cute. How could you not make a card out of this? But I kind of held off on it until I ordered this one as well because there's so many things in here that I like that look like they go into Wild and Sweet, like the bamboo and then the leaves here, which they're either bamboo leaves or they're eucalyptus leaves, which would be for the koala bear. And then the font on the sentiments is really pretty. And I'm not a fonts kind of gal or a sentiment kind of gal. I'd rather just leave all my cards blank, to tell you the truth, but it's so pretty I actually use them. So the first thing, of course, I do is I stamp things out, and that Wild and Sweet, I thought, oh, this is going to be a stamp that's not going to do well. But I stamped these with a block and they were great. So if you just want to make it all one color and use a block, that's great. But I'm going to show you cards where I'm using the Stamparatus because this deserves to be in color. So along with this one, I also stamped out the Bamboo Beauty, and I did these with blocks, and it stamped really, really well. I was worried about the bamboo stalks there, but they're fine. So, and look at that font, it's just really pretty. So let's get to my first card. Here's my first card, and we're gonna make the last one, but which I like the best. And I'll show you how to do the coloring at the end, so just hold tight. So this is just a 5.5 by 4 1/4 real red base. Now all the dimensions, all the supplies, everything is in the description of my video. So if you're looking at your cell phone, there should be like a little arrow next to the title of the video where you click down, or there's a show more or something. And once you click that, it pulls everything up. So you don't have to be frantically writing down everything that I do. You can just click it. Also, I am an Amazon affiliate, so everything you see in my videos, from the magnets that I use for my dies to the glass to everything, there's an Amazon link there. It helps out me as a small business. I get a little commission even if you don't buy anything, even if you click on it and get out. Also, I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so of course all the Stampin' Up! Products are there. They go directly to my shop, so I, can continue making videos. Anyway, so this card, like I said, the dimensions are on the description, and I took a piece of basic white, and this is like a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I stamped off the eucalyptus leaves. We're going to call it eucalyptus for now, and even though they're probably the bamboo leaves, but that's okay. And I went ahead and stamped those off on the Parakeet Party, which is one of the new colors this year, and I really, really like it. I've been using it a lot. So that's Parakeet Party. I just used a piece of scratch and stamped these off. And then, and yes, I'm using it again. This is Fabulous Frames. I've got it on my magnet here. And this, I've been using it too much. You're going to start saying, Noreen, you need to stop using this die, but it's like, I love it. So I'm going to use it. So I went ahead and I cut this out. Now I also cut it out in not only basic black, but I used foam adhesive sheets. So cut the sheet down to the size of the die, put a piece of the basic black cut down to the same size as the foam adhesive sheet, take off one side, and then die cut. Don't try to match it up because this thing is really skinny and squirrely. You won't be able to do it because I tried it and it didn't work, so I threw it away. And that's a big waste of foam adhesive sheets, but whatever. So yeah, so put the paper on first, cut them down, put the black on, then cut them out, and then they fit down really nice. So I used the Fabulous Frames, and then also I took another piece of basic white and I stamped out the koala bear, which I'll show you how to do the last one with all the how I did it on the Stamparatus. And I used this, actually the tree is Cajun Craze, and I'm using the Stampin' Right markers. Now, okay, if you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would definitely invest in Stampin' Up! Markers. I don't generally do a lot of this kind of coloring, but when I do. I mean, there's no way I can do this with any other kind of coloring. You can't use your Stampin' Blends. That doesn't work. And you can't use daubers, and you can't do the watercolor technique. It's really down to these. So I used Cajun Craze for the trunk, and then I used two kinds of the gray. I used basic gray, and I used smoky slate. And another reason to have these markers is because you have a fine tip here. So if you're going to write anything, these are great. They come in, you can buy the whole set, or you can buy just regals or neutrals or whatever. But the basic gray and smoky slate are in the neutrals, and the Cajun Craze is in the regal set. And they are on page 126 in the new catalog, the 2022 to 2023. And it's Stampin' Write markers are here. Now they're done by Brights, Neutrals, Regals, and whatever the last one is. And then the new ones, the in color ones, like that Parakeet Party, that one is down here. That's the 2022 to 24. Last year's colors, 2021 to 2023, are there. Just so you know where to find those. You don't have to buy the whole thing. Maybe start and build it up, but these things are fantastic, and that's how I colored that in on a separate piece of paper. And then the inside is just very basic. I just stamped it with Parakeet Party, and the dimensions for the inside are in the description of the video. But isn't that font beautiful? And you don't always have to have something on the front. I chose not to. That's why I put something on the inside. It's like, I better put something on here. So this is card number 1. Now here's the second card, and this one actually turned out better than I thought. Now I did something different to this card. I used the Into the Clouds embossing folder that's new in the catalog. And let me tell you, I did it a couple of times just to kind of get this right. The first time I just used a blending brush and put the balmy blue on it, and it's just too light. It just, it's not sinking into it. And then the second time I inked the embossing folder with the pad, and it came out too dark. So what I did, and we'll do it right now, I'll just do a little demo here, is I just have a 5.5 by 4.25. Now the top is always the one with the Stampin' Up logo and the line on it. So I'm going to take the embossing folder and my blending brush, and I'm going to put the ink on like this. So I'm distributing it. There isn't like big globs of ink on certain parts of it from wherever your stamp is. So I'm just really blending it in nicely like so. And you do want to get a lot of ink on it. And my inking pads are always a little on the light side because I do a lot of blending. So I don't keep them all that inked up. And then I'm going to take the paper and I'm going to line it up with that line and pick and choose like the good part, because you're not going to see the very, very edge here. So I want to pick out some Primo clouds. I'm going to put it right here, make sure it's straight. I don't necessarily need this little portion here, and I'm going to cut some of this off because this is obviously a 4 by 5.25. So I'm going to go ahead and put this through my machine. So I'm going to take it out, and look at that. So it's not under inked like this one, and it's not over inked like that one. And now I'm just going to cut it down to size. And there you go. And you don't need this little piece on the bottom because we're going to cover that up. So what I did is I'm going to show you how I inked the stamps here on the last card, but I went ahead and stamped out the raccoon and I fussy cut around him. And then I took part of that stamp, that same stamp with the grass, and just stamped out the grass on one part of it, because when you fussy cut it, it's really small. It's like 3/4 of an inch too small here. So I just stamped that part. Now I did use Majestic Mountain dye, and I cut this out in garden green. And then the sentiment tag is from He's All That. Now, He's All That, I just did a card, a couple of videos on this, and it's this die right here. This is a great die set because it has 4 really nice sentiment dies. And here you go, I've already used one. So that's from that set. And then inside, I went ahead and used Mountain Air and just stamped that in garden green on black and white, and this is card number 2. Here's card number 3. I love this card. It turned out really, really good, and it's not all that hard at all. And we're gonna make this one. So this is real red, 5.5 by 4 1/4. Of course, the inside is 4 by 5 1/4, and then the white, the basic white, is 3.5 by 4.75. And look at that font. I just really, really like the font on this set. It's really pretty. So now let's do the front. Now for the front, you're going to grab 3 pieces of paper, 5.5 by 4 1/4 basic black, 5.5 by 4 1/4 a real red, and a basic white in 4 by 5 1/4. We want this smaller because we want to make sure that when we stamp this, it's in the middle, but I don't want to bring it all the way to the edge because I don't want to be able to see it when I turn the card. So the first thing we're going to do is put the white to the side here. And yes, I'm taking out fabulous frames. I told you, I'm addicted to this frame set. And these magnets are great. These are the Stampin' Storage. The Amazon link is in the detail of my video, so pull that up. You can click on the link and you can get these. I blow through them all the time because I sell my retired sets and I usually sell them with them. So we're going to take this die and we're going to make 2 cuts on one each with this die in the red and with the black. Now the red doesn't matter so much. You just put it on there and just, you know, bring it through because all we're going to use is a frame. But on the black one, we're going to use it on the card. So when you line this up, make sure that it's in the middle. So I'm going to cut these 2 and I'll be right back. So I've cut these both. Now you're going to take it out of here. Here's just, now I kind of put it in the middle. So if I wanted to use this next time, or if I wanted to reverse this, then I could use it again. So you put that to the side. This big piece of paper, cardstock right here, just put it to the side. And then go ahead and take your frame out. And this is what we're going to use on the card. And then on the black one, you've got the same thing. So this isn't going to be used. The frame isn't going to be used just like that. But we're going to use the outside. Oh, also, just as a side note, when you are die cutting these in, when you send them through your machine, make sure they're at an angle, because if you do it straight on like that, when you crank it through, it's going to go clunk and clunk, and that's not good for the die or the machine or your ears or anything else. So kind of put it in at a slant. So that's how you cut the frame. Now we're going to take our panda bear, and I'm going to line up my paper on my Stamparatus and try to get them in the middle as much as possible, straight as possible. We do have a little wiggle room on the card, so when we put it in, if it's a little crooked, we can kind of fix it. So I'm gonna guess right about here, and then close it up, and then lift it up. Okay, so this is how I did my coloring. You have to use the Stampin' Rights. And like I said, they are a good investment if you want to buy them in the sets. These colors that we're going to be using are going to be basic black. We're going to be using soft suede. Here's soft suede. And this is a neutral, so you would need the neutral set. The basic black you can buy by itself. It's the only one that just comes on its own, and it's part number 100082. If you go to the description of my video, you can click on the link under the Stampin' Up. So I have non-Stampin' Up stuff, like all the stuff you can get on Amazon, like my plate, the magnets, anything else. And then there's Stampin' Up. So if you click on the Stampin' Up products, this will be listed. And then we're going to also use Parakeet Party, which is, like I said, it's a nice green. I really do like it. So just these 3 colors. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this one that I stamped out. And I'm going to notice where I should start and stop. And you really should kind of take this really slow and figure out where everything is. Also put your cassette under the plate here, and we're going to do the panda. So I know that's his head right here, and I'm just going to use the real thick end of this and do his head. And they dry pretty quick, so you know, do one and stamp it off, and you're going to be going back and forth. So I'm going to get down to the body, Try not to hit that tree, but make the edge of his back. Okay, and I'm gonna do that. And then come down, and I can see where the tree is. Make sure you've got some good light going on. And go around like that. Just take it real slow. And right now it doesn't look like much. And when I was first doing this, I was going, oh, I don't know if this is gonna look so great, but I was wrong. It looks good. So just keep going back and forth. And here is, I'm gonna go ahead and stand up. I was sitting down. And just kind of look like here's where his belly is and his paw and the tree. And I know the tree does come up, so I'm gonna go like make that a hump and a round and see how well I did. Okay. And you know, even if you go into the tree a little bit, it won't be too noticeable. I did that on this card here. The raccoon's really tough because the grass and him are just like one of the same at some point. If you notice, I hit the grass with black a tiny little bit, but you really don't notice it. And I do want to point out, this card, I did not use Fabulous Frame, so I was a good girl. So anyway, so I'm going to fill this in here. And keep going. Now the panda is black, so we don't have to worry about shading too much. But like on the raccoon, was it? No, the panda, the koala bear, I used two different grays. I used the basic gray and smoky slate. And I used the darker ones to do his ears here. I also used basic black for his nose and his eyes. But then I used the blacker gray to go around his arm and his back here. So I did shade that. But with the panda, you don't have to worry about shading or anything. So just keep going. And you can layer as much as you want. Just take it slow, so you don't like go whoop and get the tree or something. And then he also has an arm that goes down from the tree here, his leg. And I'm gonna do his leg like so, okay? And just keep going over and over it to get the darkness you want. And then let's go ahead, and we might come back to him and just fill in his coloring a little bit, but let's go ahead and do the tree. The tree I did in soft suede, which is a neutral, so you can get just the neutrals by themselves. And I'm going to fill in that tree. Make sure I'm not hitting those leaves. Now on this part of the tree, none of the leaves go into the tree, so I can just make the tree by itself here without any worry that I'm going to hit something. Just make it darker, right? And then I'm going to grab this part of the tree, which is this side, and I'm looking, and none of the branches go over that either. So I just have to make sure that I stay on the tree itself. I think on the other side, yeah, on the other side the leaves come over a little bit. So I'm going to go slow. And then I'm going to go down here. I'm going to outline the bear, the panda bear. I'm going right under his belly. Now I know that I'm right because it does kind of go up into there. So that's part of the tree. That's why stamping it out is really good. So just going to do the rest here, just taking it in sections. And then here's this part of the tree, the top part. The bottom part is where there are some leaves. So I'm going to do the outline here. And I usually don't like using Stampin' Rights to color stamps. It kind of looks watercolory to me, but for this particular one, it looks really good. So I'm digging it. So, okay, this part of the tree right here, there's a little tiny, there's some leaves that just go right over, and they're super hard to see, but I'm gonna just fill in the rest of the bottom and then just kind of make my way inward a little bit and see what happens. Okay, and I'm going to switch real quick to the Parakeet Party, which, like I said, I really like this color. It's a good color. They came up with a good green for us this year. Okay, and you're going to see it. There's the Parakeet Party. And the leaves are nice. They're nice and they've got a good detail to them. So they're pretty. And then just watch your transition between the two colors. Sometimes you're too close and sometimes you're too far, and just kind of fill them in. Doesn't that look good? But you can see I missed that part of the leaf. I think it's that one right there. Just like that. That looks really nice. Okay, this is the hard part over here where those leaves go in, and it's just like a guess. I'm gonna just do tiny bits at a time. It's right there. You can see where that should be the trunk of the tree. I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna do it with the green first, because if I don't guess right, the black will cover it up, or the soft suede will cover it up a bit. Okay, I'm getting closer. So it looks like this goes up. Like I said, the raccoon's even more tricky. Let's see. These go in low, so I'm going to do this. And just inch your way up. Oh, I'm being bold. I went really in. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to soft suede and see what I get. Okay, go in between. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just touch up, go back and forth with your colors until you've got something that you like. So I'm going to finish up the leaves over here and fill everything in, and I'll be right back. So we got him all colored up. Now, this little stamp from the bamboo, I'm not going to put on until after I get them in the frame. So it's this one right here. And since I just stamped that, I don't want to turn my piece over, because it's still, you know, I put quite a few layers of ink down. I just don't want to smear it or anything. So I'm going to just eyeball this here in the middle like that. And now I'm going to put on the black frame and just go ahead and snail it. And this is kind of the tricky part, is to get this to line up with the edge of the paper. Now I'm going to take my frame here and snail that up on my silicone craft sheet, which is the best thing in the world. If you don't have one, get one. They're amazing. It's in my description of my video under the Stampin' Up stuff, not the non-Stampin' Up stuff. And there we go. And then the final little piece is the cute little stamp here. And now that I know my space, I'm going to put it right, I'm going to put my head in the camera, sorry, right here. Well, and that's my card. Isn't he cute? So if you are a first-time subscriber, like, subscribe, and put in the comments on my video that you're a first-time subscriber and you want to win a demo card. I don't keep any of these cards. I have 5 million cards. So if you want a demo card and you're a first-time subscriber, put your email in the comments. Say, I would like to win a demo card, and I will email you, get your address, and I'll mail you one out. So anyway, that'll do it for me. Thanks. Bye.